Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by XFC Lightweight Scott Holtzman. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Scott, I know you've probably been asked this question 1,000 times, but I'm curious, how did you get your nickname, Hot Sauce?
I actually got that nickname from a friend. It didn't really have anything to do with MMA, but pretty much eat hot sauce on everything, and he worked with me at the time, and he kind of caught me putting some hot sauce on cereal. So ever since then, he called me Hot Sauce, and it kind of followed me to the gym. He came to the gym for a little while, and that's kind of where it all started.
Mm-hmm. Are you a fan of hot food, or are you just a fan of hot sauce? And if so, what kind of brands of hot sauce are you a fan of?
I like all hot sauce. I like hot food too, man. I pretty much like it all. Right now, I think probably Cholula is my favorite all-around hot sauce. I'm on that right now, but I go through spurts. I'll do Frank's, Cholula, Texas Pete, just about anything, man. I try it all.
I read somewhere that with you having so much of this hot sauce in your diet, that it actually helps you cut weight. Is that true?
I mean, they say it can speed up the metabolism a little bit. I was probably joking about that, but I don't know. I don't really. I eat it pretty much all the way until it's time to cut sodium out. So, and I haven't missed weight yet. So I guess it's. I guess if it works for you, it works for you.
Definitely. Scott, you got a fight coming up June 14th at XFC 24. This whole process of getting this fight has been a wild ride for you. You were supposed to fight Nick Newell. This whole experience, this whole process of getting this fight has been a wild ride for you. You were supposed to fight Nick Newell, who was the champion at the time. He's no longer the champion because he turned down the fight against you and the XFC stripped him of the title. Let's go back to the Jason Hicks fight. That fight was a number one contenders bout. You ended up winning that fight, so the XFC gave you a title shot. After that fight, what happened? Talk us through what happened after that fight. What did you do? Did you go back to training immediately? Did you take some time off, and then when you got back to the gym, get right into a camp? What exactly did you do after that Jason Hicks fight?
I had a couple nicks from the fight, so I had to kind of take it easier than I normally would, but as soon as I was able to go back, probably about a week and a half or so, I was right back in the gym. I'm always training, man. I'm not one of those guys that just waits till I get word of a fight and then goes and starts training. I'm always training, so I'm always trying to get better and improve everywhere. So I knew that once I beat Hicks, I'd be going for the title. It wasn't like I just found that out afterwards. So for me, Jason Hicks, that fight was a stepping stone, and obviously, I want to continue to progress. So, once you get the title, we're going for the title as the ultimate goal. So I didn't want to stop and let up after I beat Jason Hicks. Of course not.
You mentioned that you took a little bit of time off after the Jason Hicks fight, and then you got right back into training camp and started preparing for Nick Newell. How long into camp were you when you found out that Nick Newell didn't accept the fight?
I was pretty deep into it by that point. I mean, we had known for a couple months. So, when I got back in the gym, we already started preparing for, a guy with half an arm. So, and preparing in certain ways. And, I felt like when he backed out, it was, 5 weeks before the camp. Yeah, I was pretty heavily going in camp, but I didn't let it affect me. I was mad about it for about 24 hours. I allowed myself about 24 hours and then got to work. I knew that they would find me another opponent, so it wasn't really a big deal for me. He's a southpaw just like Nick was, so it hasn't been too big of a change.
When you found out that Nick Newell wasn't going to take the fight, was this, a completely, just a shock to you? Was it completely out of left field that everything you had thought was just, completely turned upside down when he decided not to take this fight? Or were there some hints throughout camp that maybe he wasn't going to take this fight? Because I heard a rumor that he wasn't even signed. He never signed to fight you. There also stuff that came out that he didn't have a contract with XFC. Was there ever any, hint to maybe this fight not happening?
Well, I had heard something about he was hesitant to sign the contract earlier on, but that they were going to get it all taken care of. But, after I won against Jason Hicks, he sent a tweet out and said, hey, let's do it in Louisville or whatever the next XFC show was. So, he was evidently on board at that point. I think, after he sat down and thought about it a little bit and maybe talked to his management, they decided that it wasn't the risk wasn't worth the reward for fighting me. I think he knew that I was a bad matchup for him, and I think he would rather lose to a name. Whereas, for me, I'm just a 4-0 guy trying to make a name for myself. So I think that's kind of where it was. And he says that he wasn't under contract or this or that, but he was. His contract, I think, would expire in another month. He had 2 months left on it, so he decided not to take the fight and just ride out the contract till it expires. So, they're trying to save face on his end and come up with a good reason not to take the fight. But the bottom line is, I think that you're the champ. You fight whoever they put out in front of you.
Now, what's the most disappointing part about not getting to fight Nick Newell? I know you said that, for 24 hours you were real mad about it, and now you've kind of let it go. But at the time, what was the most disappointing part about not having this fight?
Just the exposure. I wanted to expose him a little bit. A lot of his fans, message me or trash talk me, basically saying he's unbeatable and, there's a higher power controlling him in the ring and things like that. So I kind of wanted to expose him. And, obviously he's a popular guy. He's known all over the world. But, I wanted for people to know my name after the fight, not only his.
You've been fighting for the XFC since day one of your pro career. When the XFC came in and signed you, did they just come out and say, hey, we want to sign you, here's a contract? Or did you have to go through the XFC open tryout? How did the whole deal with XFC come together?
No, I competed in a Grand Prix tournament, in amateur down here in the Southeast where, it was an 8-man tournament. Was supposed to be the best amateurs around the Southeast, and ended up winning that. And the prize for winning that was just a shot with the XFC. I think maybe like a 1 or 2 fight deal. So I won that, and I got a shot on the undercard when they came through Tennessee, and I guess impressed the XFC. So they came back and offered me another 5-fight deal after my first fight, with guaranteed TV and all that. So I took that after, but in the very beginning it was pretty much just kind of promised a fight or two, but they were impressed with me after the first one, so they offered me a longer one. It's been really good, man. It's been positive, and they've been good to me, so I've really enjoyed the ride.
Definitely. And after that second fight or third fight, people were already starting to talk about you fighting for the title, and now it's finally here. June 14th, you're fighting for the belt. How does it feel to work your way up for the title? Because there's a lot of regional shows, mid-major shows, whatever you want to call it, who just throw a guy in there, never fought for the organization before. Just throw him in there for a title fight, and it doesn't really, it doesn't have that kind of special feel to it. It has a special feel to it because you built yourself up since day one with XFC. How does it feel to, work your way up the ladder and actually earn this title shot?
It feels good. Obviously, a lot of beginning pros have to, they kind of spend time trying to, fight wherever they can, the fairgrounds or, fight here or fight there. But it's been good to kind of have a home and be able to work my way up the ladder. And honestly, I always take it one fight at a time. So, I kind of have had my head in the sand and just won one fight, won another one, and all of a sudden here I am fighting for the title. So it's been a cool journey, man, and I'm just ready to get in there now. I'm tired of training and all that, and just ready to get in there and put it on the line for sure.
You're based out of Tennessee. We really don't hear too much about the MMA scene in Tennessee. We know that, Strikeforce, XFC, they came in and did some shows in Tennessee, but we really don't hear too much about the training and, the fighters and all that kind of stuff coming out of Tennessee. So what is the mixed martial arts scene like in Tennessee?
I think it's growing. We had, in Knoxville, where I was, we had a guy in the UFC, Rafael Oliveira, for a little while, and now we've got a guy, Vince St. Preux. He's in the UFC, just starting out. So we have some good training around. Obviously, there's a shortage of bodies, higher level pros around and things like that. But I think it's really growing. The amateur scene's really nice. The 3FC, they do a good job. So, it's growing. So, but it's definitely, not a hotbed per se.
Where exactly are you training at, and who are you training with in preparation for this fight?
Right now, I'm at the MMA lab. I just finished up today. That's in Glendale, Arizona.
Oh, with Ben Henderson.
Yeah. I'm
I
out
see.
here at a good place, and there's a ton of other guys here too. So there's never an easy round. I've been here for about 6 weeks. It's been a hell of a camp, man, and ready to get back home and put the final touches on everything and head to Florida.
Now, is this just something where you're training at the lab for this fight, or is this something that could potentially be a permanent move for you?
It's just for now. It's just for the camp. It's it's been great, but Tennessee is home for me, so I'm going to go back and still train in Tennessee. I have good coaches there. Shield Systems is my gym at home. I also cross train at Pinnacle MMA, so I have some good coaches at home. Obviously, there's unlimited awesome training partners out here, and majority of the guys are 55, so it's been nice.
Now, is it possible that you will, when you're not fighting or not, lined up for a fight, do the training in Tennessee, and then when you have a fight lined up, will go elsewhere to do it? Is that something that you've thought about?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, obviously it was a good camp. I'd love to come back sometime, so hopefully I'll be coming out here for camp or, whatever is I'm capable of at the time. So, yeah, for sure.
Now, your opponent on June 14th is going to be John Manlow. I hope I said his name right, but what are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
He's definitely durable. He's a veteran. He's been in there with some high-level guys, so, and has some sneaky submissions and things. So definitely, has some things to watch out for, but I'm well prepared, man, and, still working every day, going to work every day up until the fight, and I'll be ready for anything he has to offer, for sure.
Now, like you mentioned, he's a veteran guy. He's fought a lot of tough guys in the past, but where do you feel that you have the advantage in this fight?
I definitely think I have the wrestling advantage. I feel like I'll be in better shape than him. I'll be able to push the pace and things like that. So, wherever the fight goes, I'm comfortable too. I think I have an advantage there. I like to feel like I'm, on the way to being well-rounded. So, it should be interesting. I'll get in there and feel it out and see where I have the advantage. Obviously, he hasn't fought in a year, so there's no telling what kind of improvements he's made. So, get in there, that bell will ring, and we'll figure it out.
Now, do you feel that he's a big step up in competition? Do you feel that he's the necessary step up in competition for you? Do you feel he's a lateral step in competition for you from the guys that you've fought in the past?
Definitely, it's a step up in competition for sure. I mean, he's fought plenty of guys that are in the UFC now and have been in the UFC, had some good careers. So experience is something you can't take away from somebody, and he has that, and I don't. So it's going to be a good measuring stick fight for me, and I'm ready to take that step. I always want to fight tougher and tougher guys, so I'm just ready to capitalize on another opportunity.
Now, do you visualize, when you're laying in bed at night, do you visualize, how a fight can go and how a fight can end? Is visualization a key part in your training?
Yeah, it sure is. I visualize everything. I visualize the fight going well. I visualize the fight going badly for me. I visualize positions, everything from walking out to being in the locker room to being in bad positions and everything. So, that way when the fight goes, it'll feel like I've been there already. So it's not a big deal.
What are some ways that you've seen this fight ending?
Just any way. Any way that I can get it. I'm not, I'm not a guy that says, I'll only knock him out, or I'm only going to try and knock him out, or anything like that.
Right.
I'm going to go up there, and it's going to be an MMA fight. If his neck's open, I'm going to try to take it. If his hands are down, I'm going to try to hit him in the face. It doesn't matter to me. I'll take a win any way I can get it.
Scott, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, sure. Fish First Athletics, MMA Lab, Shield Systems, Pinnacle MMA, Equito Boxing, Plum Nasty MMA, all the friends and family, and thanks for the interview, man. I appreciate it.
Scott, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck June 14th at XFC 24.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Mike. Take care.